What is going on, guys? Jason Burke here, Styles Clash for Life, coming at you on YouTube, and today I've got some football focus. As I record this, the NFL Draft, the first round is just 15 days away. We are about 2 weeks out from the Steelers Draft, finally, and you guys have been asking for this one for a while. I've been talking to you guys all postseason about the draft. I've been doing free agency videos, who Pittsburgh should target, who we should cut and keep from our own roster, who we should go after in free agency, and kind of what things we should do in the draft. If you guys want to hear my breakdowns on should the Steelers draft trade up or trade down in the draft, should they draft Jordan Addison, should they draft Brian Branch, I did long-form videos on those individual controversial topics on my channel. So if you want to hear my take and breakdown on those things, check that out. But you guys have been asking for me to do a mock draft this year, and in the past I've done multiple mock drafts in different videos. Since we're so close to the draft and I laid out all of these possibilities already, I wanted to bring you guys 3 mock drafts in one video. It's not going to be super long, I'll make it quick, but I wanted to bring you guys 3 mock drafts from my most favorite draft that I did to my, lesser of the favorite drafts. So favorite, second favorite, third favorite, and discussing all the possibilities of what Pittsburgh could and should do in this draft. Some early guys to get, some steals to get, some late round possibilities that could be players in the future. I broke it all down here. So I've got our 7 picks. We have a first round, 2 second rounds, a third, a fourth, and 2 sevenths. I've got possibilities for every one of those picks here. And I'm going to start with the first draft, the one that I would like the most. If we do this draft, this is my favorite of all the Steeler possibilities. And I did these drafts under the assumption that we're looking at offensive tackle, cornerback, defensive tackle, and inside linebacker. Those are the 4 positions that I've really prioritized. So I did those picks in different orders in these 3 different drafts. I prioritized one over the other in these drafts. But yes, all of these drafts are predicated upon the assumption that O-tackle, D-tackle, corner, and ILB are our 4 most important positions that we have to add an extra body to in the early rounds to get a quality player to be at the very least in the rotation this season. So starting with the first draft, round 1, pick 17, Pittsburgh goes with either Paris Johnson or Broderick Jones. Now, Paris Johnson is my favorite O-tackle in the entire draft. I like him more than Skoronski. I like him the best out of any O-tackle in this draft, but I don't think he'll be there. So if by some miracle he winds up falling to us at 17, take Paris Johnson. He is the best fit for us. He is the best overall talent. He has the highest upside. But likely, there's a much better chance that Broderick Jones from Georgia falls to us there. This guy's a dog. He's powerful. He has underrated quickness. He has good size to him. I like this guy a lot. He is probably my 3rd favorite tackle in the entire draft behind Paris and Skoronski, but I think he's one of the best system fits for us. So there's a chance he won't fall to us, but if he does, he is my ideal number 17 pick in this first draft. The second pick of my first draft, pick number 32, from the Chicago Bears trade for Chase Claypool. What a steal that was. I've got us prioritizing cornerback. And cornerback, not quarter, cornerback. And I've got us picking either Emmanuel Forbes or Keely Ringo here. Obviously, by 32, the top 3 guys, Christian Gonzalez, Devin Witherspoon, JPJ, they're going to all be gone by 32. But I think Emmanuel Forbes is my most underrated corner in this draft. I really like the tape on him. He suits the Steelers. He can play mostly outside, also can play inside if needed. A little flexibility there. I just like his tape. He's a turnover machine. He's one of the league leaders in college football for interceptions. He's physical, plays the ball well. Forbes is one of the better corners in a pretty stacked corner class for me. And Keely Ringo, if Forbes is already gone, Keely Ringo is a good fallback plan for me at 32. Now I know he came into this season as the number 1 overall corner and then kind of fell off a little bit. He got torched in some one-on-ones against elite guys, but I still like his measurables. I still like his feet. I still like the way he tracks the ball, and I think he has not fallen quite as far as some other guys would have you believe. So I think if we can't get one of our top 4 guys here, I think Ringo is a really good pick at 32. And I don't think he's going to play nearly as bad as he kind of fell off in the second half of the season for Georgia. So I like one of those guys here at 32. But I would also be okay with a couple other guys. People look at Julius Brents, a couple guys like that. So there's a bunch of possibilities at 32 if we go corner 2nd overall. Second round pick, number 49, D-tackle. You guys know where this is going. Siaki Ika. Big body, true nose tackle, big run stuffer, athletic for his size. I like this guy a lot. We've been lacking a big nose tackle since Casey Hampton, and there's a bunch of those guys in this draft, and I think Siaki Ika is one of the best. There are some more athletic, faster D tackles in this draft earlier on, and I'll get to those in different drafts. But Siaki Ika is our true Steelers thumper nose tackle that's going to get to the run game. He's going to improve our interior tackling. He's going to keep the inside linebackers clean to make plays and get turnovers. I like Siaki Ika here as our third pick. Third round, pick number 80, our fourth overall selection in my first draft, Demarion Overshown. If we're going to go inside linebacker, this is the best value pick to do it at. Overshown is my personal, probably second favorite inside linebacker in this draft. That's not saying he's the second best, but he's my second favorite. Second or third favorite. There's one or two guys that I like a little more. But for the third round, or even fourth round I've seen him mocked in, Overshown has got some skills. This dude from Texas is an athlete. That's what I want to add to the ILB room, is Demarion Overshown. You have two guys right now in Cole Holcomb and Landon Roberts, who are your thumper, your downhill running back, Robert Spillane style, kind of not unathletic, but just kind of big plotting guys that can make some tackles, but they're not going to be splash players as much. They're not going to be covering as much. They're not going to be flying around the field with flexibility. But someone like Overshown is a freakish athlete. This guy's been overlooked, and he's one of my steals in this draft. If we can get him in our fourth pick to solidify the inside linebacker room with another athlete who can cover, who can run around the field, I like Overshown here a lot. Round 4, pick number 120. I've got us taking a receiver here. I think adding another receiver body to the room is important in the later rounds here. I would not pick one before the fourth round. Fourth round is the highest I'd go on receiver because I love Pickens. I think Deontay's still got a bit of a ceiling to get to, and I think Calvin Austin could be a superstar. And I like Anthony Miller as well, but we did not bring back Steven Sims, and we look like we're not bringing back Miles Boykin, at least right now. So you want a big body guy on the outside to at least give you depth and possibilities for the future. Here I've got Parker Washington / Jonathan Mingo. Either is fine. Parker's a Penn State guy, so kind of a hometown guy, which we like. He's a big body. He can break a lot of tackles. I like the way he reads the ball in the air. Jonathan Mingo is one of the best wide receivers in, again, a pretty stacked class. Mingo's got hands for days. He can get really tall, good jumper, good long arms, tall guy, physical specimen, can play the outside. You can put him in the slot as a big body slot, but I like him better on the outside. I think Mingo is one of the steals of this draft if you get him all the way in the fourth round, and that's where he's been mocked to. So I would prioritize Mingo. If you can't get him, Parker Washington is also a good fit in the fourth round for some wide receiver depth. Now you get to the seventh round, pick 236. I have Carl Brooks here. You do want to get edge rusher depth, preferably at the outside linebacker spot. I think our D-line's getting pretty full. We just signed another tackle the other day. We've got like 8 guys already on the D-line, and that's without the draft. So you want to probably go outside linebacker here. We have not signed Dupree yet, so you want to get a true third outside linebacker piece here. Carl Brooks has been testing pretty well off the edge. Explosiveness, good hitter, seems to get a lot of pressure. So I like him as a potential OLB 3 or 4 here in this in the 7th round. And then finally, 243 in the 7th round, I'm going third string quarterback. We need one. Mason Rudolph is not it. Let him go. I would go here either Stetson Bennett. He's my late round quarterback that I like. I've seen him mocked a lot. The Georgia national champion, 2-time champion, experience in big games, true pocket quarterback. I like him. He's a good third round guy that can learn from Trubisky and even behind Kenny, who's young. But Stetson Bennett or Sean Clifford, who's a Penn State guy, got a decent arm. We saw him throw to a couple of good Penn State receivers. Again, these guys are just projects. They're good third round guys to add right now behind our franchise guy and our veteran. So those are my two main guys. I need to watch more of Clayton too, and I've seen him mocked to us a lot too. I need to watch him and a couple of the other guys, but I've watched Cunningham. I've watched about 6 or 7 of these late round quarterbacks. I have not watched Tune enough yet, but right now my guys here are Stetson Bennett or Sean Clifford as our quarterback there. So that is my first draft. Let's go to my second one. In this second draft, I'm prioritizing corner as the first pick instead of offensive tackle. So if I'm doing that, number 17, Joey Porter Jr., there is some conjecture on whether or not he is going to be there at 17. He may or may not. Again, if he doesn't, there are guys, like I said, at 32 we could get. But if we could get a guy at 17, obviously if Christian Gonzalez or Weatherspoon are there, I'd go for those guys first. But I think it's going to be down to Porter. I think he's going to be the best available corner. He's the most probably physical corner in this draft. He's a very underrated athlete. He's obviously got local ties and name ties to Pittsburgh with his dad playing here. I like him as a fit. He's a good physical outside corner who can bump around Peterson. If he plays well on the outside, Peterson can play on the inside or vice versa. So I like that. Number 2, I am going back to offensive tackle here since I took Porter in the first round of this second draft. Pick number 32, I'm taking either Dayon Jones or Anton Harrison. Not sure if Dayon Jones is going to be there. He's been flying up the boards. Both these guys have been mocked to us in the first round in other drafts as well. So hopefully one of these two guys, Dayon Jones or Anton Harrison, is there for us at the 32nd pick overall. Got to get an O-tackle high in this draft. I wouldn't go any later really than second pick for O-tackle. But Porter first and then Dayon Jones or Harrison second. Second round, pick 49, our third overall pick of my second draft, I would take Dayon Henley. I'm not as big on Dayon Henley as I am some of the other linebackers, but it's a little too late for one of the super elite ones, and I think it's still a little too early for an Overshown, who I like better. But I do like Dayon Henley, though. He's a bigger guy, he's a thumper, but he is an athlete. He's a smaller school guy compared to some of the other guys that I like in this draft for ILB, so I'm not as big on this pick, but I've seen him mocked to us a lot. And he seems like a tackling machine, and he seems like he has a big motor for a big guy. So I like Dayon Henley in this spot here. Round 3, pick number 80 in my second draft, I've got Keanu Benton. Again, the D-tackles are plentiful in this draft. I like Benton about the same as Siaki Ika. I know that he's not tested well, as well as some of the other guys in the free agency, in the draft process. But I like Keanu Benton from Wisconsin. Big guy, good run stuffer, does similar things to Ika. Maybe he's not as complete as Ika. Maybe he's not as strong as Ika, but Benton looks really good here. And I think to get him as our 4th overall pick, I think you're solidifying D-tackle nicely. In that room is a guy who can start probably pretty quickly for us. Depending on what happens with Leal and Loudermilk, we'll figure that out. 4th round, 120 in my second overall draft, I'm going edge rush depth. And I've got Tuli Tuipulotu or Andre Carter. Tuli is from USC. Andre Carter, I believe, is Army. I think he's an Army player. I like both these guys. Carter's one of the more mock guys to us in the 4th round. I like his tape. It's limited, but he seems like he's quick. Tuli Tuipulotu I like a lot. I watched him in USC. He was a bit of a game changer. He was batting a lot of balls, which Pittsburgh likes to do. He was playing like a more outside version of a Cam Hayward, where he's like a bigger guy, but he's also got a motor. He's batting balls. He's getting pressures that are going even unnoticed, but he's making differences in the plays. So, again, getting that edge rush depth for both the offensive line or defensive line and for the outside linebacker spot, which is a priority in these late rounds for us. And where are we at now? I'm going 7th round at 236. I'm taking a late round receiver here since I didn't take one in my second draft. I am taking one of my steals here, Matt Landers from Arkansas. I like this guy a whole lot. He's a hard guy to bring down. He's like the freaking. He just kind of reminds me of what is. I'm losing this guy's. I'm losing this guy's profile here. Matt Landers to me is just a guy that's hard to tackle. He really underrated hands, good speed, good power. He's kind of got everything. So I really enjoy that. Also looking at Elijah Higgins, he's a local receiver who performed pretty well, I think, for a 7th round guy. Again, you're looking to fill the roster out with a 4th or 5th guy here. You've already got several other guys on this roster. Like Gunnar Olszewski is going to be there. There's still a chance we're going to get back the old receiver from Baltimore, Miles Boykin. You're going to see what you got with the health of the old Bears receiver as well. So you got plenty of guys here. But I think adding an extra body that can be a steal for you here is good, and that is especially going for Matt Landers. And then 7th round pick, 243, same thing, Bennett or Clifford, one of those two quarterbacks, I think is really a big value here for us. I paused there because I was trying to think of the running back that I really wanted to prioritize because I think an RB3 could be good for us too. I don't know if we're re-signing Benny Snell or not. We already have our 2 starters, obviously, in Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren. But if we get a late-round running back in these 7th rounds, I really like Mohamed Ibrahim from Minnesota. I didn't write him down, and that's why I was pausing trying to think of his name. Mohamed Ibrahim has like Javonte Williams from North Carolina last year or 2 years ago, has his tape. This guy is just running through people. He's looking for contact. He's finishing runs strong. He's a good goal line guy. His cuts for a guy that's a power back are amazing. He's got the best combination of speed and power that I've seen since Javonte, and you guys know I love Javonte's tape last year. So Mohamed Ibrahim is another name to watch. I'm talking about how much I love Matt Landers as a late-round receiver. Mohamed Ibrahim as a late-round running back in any of these drafts. I would love to get this guy as my RB3. Get a special teams guy in there, let him get a couple carries in preseason and see what he can do. This guy's got power and speed. I love him. Okay, third and final mock draft. We're running a little long, so I will pick it up a little bit. In this one, I'm going a little counterculture. I'm going a little different here. I wanted to mix some things up. I already did my, prioritizing the main things draft, so I wanted to go a little different here. And my number 1 overall pick at 17 in my third draft is Kalijah Kancey. He's a Pitt guy. Pittsburgh likes going local. He's not a true D tackle, like a nose tackle. He's more of a multiple tech inside guy, but can also be a D lineman. I think he'd wind up being one of our best linemen. Not only could he fill in at D tackle here for us while we need a guy there, but when, Ogunjobi has a 2-year contract who's getting up there in age, had some injuries at times, Cam's going into, his 12th or 13th season, we're going to need guys on the edge eventually, so Kancey can also fill in there as well. Just one of the quickest guys to shed blocks and get around guys. He's got fast moves on the line. Underrated power, but he's a really good flashy speed guy who can get in the backfield. I like Kancey a lot. So if we're going to prioritize D-tackle this early, which I wouldn't necessarily, but if we were to, I like Kancey a lot more than Brian Bresee. So I'd go there, and he's local too. Number two pick, number 32 overall, Drew Sanders. If we're going to prioritize inside linebacker a little higher than anything else this year, Sanders is the way to go. Sanders or Trenton Simpson. I like both those guys a lot. I like Sanders a little bit more. But again, you're talking about a guy who's a thumper who can also be that athlete to move around. Sanders and Simpson, either one fits the bill, but I love Drew Sanders in this draft. Best overall inside linebacker. To get him here at 32, it might be a little too early considering you just brought over 2 starting captains from different teams, and you still have Mark Robinson here. So in a room that's already got 3 guys that have played before for as starters, do you really want to bring a 4th guy over? But if you do, Drew Sanders is that guy. And again, wouldn't be mad about Simpson either. But Sanders, I think, is the best ILB in this draft. I'm not a big fan of Campbell for us at all. It's not a good fit, but Sanders is. He's a difference maker that can make splash plays, and that's something we need. He could improve the run game and the pass game. Second round pick, number 49 in my third draft is either Garrett Williams or Clark Phillips. You got to get a corner high. You got to get a value guy. Clark Phillips is probably one of the best slot corners in this draft, and a slot is what we need most right now. Maulet's not going to be a full-time slot. He's more of a box guy for running game. You really need a slot corner if you're going to keep Peterson on the outside along with Levi Wallace. If you want to kind of do that slot thing, Clark is one of your best bets for the entire draft. Garrett Williams is one of the most underrated corners in the draft just because he's been hurt. He was hurt at Syracuse, mocked as one of the highest corners in the league last year, got hurt, but if he can be healthy, what a freaking steal this guy would be in the 49th pick, because he could easily be a first-round guy if he was healthy. Third pick, number 80, in my third overall draft, Matthew Bergeron, Syracuse offensive tackle. You got to get an O-tackle in those first 4 picks no matter what you do. I'm not content with our 2 O-tackles right now, so I would go Matthew Bergeron at Syracuse here, best value in the 43rd round tackles. 4th round, 120, I would go Nick Hampton here. He's an Appalachian State outside linebacker. Gives you potential for a bit of a smaller school who's got a motor. Kind of reminds me of Highsmith a little bit. Good outside linebacker depth there. Round 7, 236, Stetson Bennett. If you're going to go first 7th round pick for a quarterback, Stetson may be there. Again, I'm fine with Clifford or even Clayton Jr. possibly. Or if you want to get that running back, Mohamed Ibrahim, I'll say it again. Love that guy as a late round value. And finally, 7th round, 243 in my third overall draft. Whoever the best available receiver is between Matt Landers and Elijah Higgins. So this draft is good for us. We've got a bunch of guys we possibly need. Some good offensive tackles from multiple rounds, good corners from multiple rounds. Inside linebackers got some late round value, so does D-tackle. We're looking for a 3rd running back or a 4th or 5th receiver. There are those in these drafts. We're looking for a 3rd round quarterback. There are those in these drafts. Let's see how we do this. But there are my 3. different pick round one through 7. 7 picks, 3 drafts, 3 different setups. So which one do you guys like best? What do you want to prioritize most? Do you think I missed anybody important here? Do you think there are any other steals that I missed out on? And which way would you prioritize our picks? Please tell me in the comments down below. I want to talk draft with you guys. This is the big one to do it. Tell me about your grades for all 3 of these drafts and which you like best and worst and who you'd pick and move around and why. And please like, share, and subscribe to this video. And I'll be coming back to you guys with more Steeler coverage and more movie reviews. So check those out soon. And I'll be bringing you guys all the coverage on draft night as well. So take care.